Hi everyone, and welcome to this video in which I'm going to be talking about what it means when you have Saturn conjunct the Ascendant or Saturn in the first house. Now, Saturn in the first house, to first understand what this means, we have to know what is Saturn. So typically, that would represent in the birth chart, it would represent something that you struggle with. It's something that in this lifetime, it's going to be a focal point, big challenge. It's not something that comes naturally to you. You really struggle with, and you struggle to access that energy, or you struggle to maintain it. And it's like in the birth chart, your Saturn is much like a quest. I think I could liken it a little bit to the North Node. It's heavy energy, and it's just sitting there in a particular place, sign, house with aspects, and you're going to be tested on that throughout your whole life. Like, you're going to be tested, and it's a struggle, so everyone has this. And we all, probably know Saturn to represent, things like constriction, confinement, reality, the limits of what is possible, boundaries, time, father time, And so what happens when we have Saturn in the first house or conjunct the Ascendant in the birth chart? Well, as I'm saying, Saturn is about what you're tested on, what you're struggling with, and what you're trying to overcome, a challenge. And when that is in the first house, your first house is the house of the persona, the house of the self, the house of individuality. And it's actually the most important house in the zodiac. So when you have that, you really struggle with, because it's your persona, you really struggle with, could be lack of confidence particularly in the appearance, the way that you look, the way that you come across to others. You might be very inhibited, very shy, very restricted, also very serious as well. There's a serious streak with Saturn in the first house. It's like the way that you naturally come across, behave, it's like inhibited and restricted and controlled. It could be like self-esteem. Yeah, like I can't just be myself, I can't just speak, I can't just take up room because I feel like I shouldn't. And you could often struggle with your voice, like expressing yourself, like because of that confidence, So what Saturn does is it restricts and it confines. So when you have that in the house of the self, the persona, the first house is very literal, like what people see. It's like the avatar which we embody in this world. I always say the sun is like your quest, what you're about, and the energies that you are working with in this lifetime. The moon is your emotions on the inside, and your rising sign ascendant is like your actual persona. So I always liken it to be like, if life was like a video game, the sun is why you're playing that game, the moon is what you feel when you're playing that game, and the first house, the ascendant, is your actual persona within that game, like that actual person in the game, So that's like the way that I see the first house. So when you have Saturn there, like that is inhibited. So yeah, quiet, restricted, unconfident, serious. I don't think you come across unconfident though. In fact, you might come across quite confident. You might come across very strong. Saturn is strong and it's tough, and it's kind of cold as well. So Saturn in the first house people, to, like, despite that kind of vulnerability that you feel, you actually do come across quite strong and quite, like formidable, So yeah, there's a big feeling of restriction here, and like it does go deeper. Like I'm saying, I could say like, oh, you have a feeling of restriction with your persona, with your expression, but it goes deeper than that. Like, because it's Saturn. Saturn is it's like a karmic thing. It's like what you're struggling with in this lifetime is not an accident. So you could, on the surface level, say, yeah, this makes a person inhibited, serious, shy, and self-contained because you're really struggling with breaking through that energy and becoming someone who is confident in self-expression. Because in past you maybe have not gotten it right, so it's like you're trying to really alchemize that area of your life. So there, like Saturn in the first house people, very studious, very hardworking. There's a big sense of responsibility with Saturn in the first house. Like it's a big sense of responsibility. It's like I got to take care of things. I got to be mature. I got to be responsible. So I would say it's like oldest sibling energy, or only sibling energy, or yeah, just like that. Like people are counting on me, and I have to be serious and responsible and be a certain way. I can't play around. I can't just not take things serious. Like I have to be serious and strong, so it's like that. But it's a heavy burden to be that way, and there could be a big desire as well to be respected and to be seen as being capable and serious and capable and yeah, like studious, so with Saturn in the first house, it could be like people were putting like heavy responsibilities on you from a very, very young age, and that has made you become this way, so I would say that you have a serious outlook with life, because first house is the way that people perceive you, but it's also like the way that you perceive everything else, and it's also the way that you initiate things. It's the house of initiation. So with Saturn there, it's like there is a high standard that you place on yourself, potentially a high standard that you place on other people as well. I think that you can be very tough on yourself as well, and just like a big feeling of responsibility, and it might be you might find it quite hard to relax as well, with Saturn in the first house. So there's always a sense of seriousness. Saturn in the first house, it could be kind of similar to Saturn conjunct Sun in some respects, and also similar to being a Capricorn rising as well. And as I always say with Capricorn, there's like as you grow older, the way that you have your way about you, like the way that you express yourself, the way your body language, the way that you talk, the way that you walk, it's like you loosen up as you get older. So as a child, you might have been like very serious, studious, good student. People might have said you're act older for your age, and it's like as you get older, like you kind of loosen up and learn to kind of not take yourself so serious, and things like that. That tends to be like the rule of thumb when it comes to Capricorn Saturn energy in general. It's like kind of starts off like really restrictive and kind of an old energy, and it kind of like loosens up a little bit as you get older, and you become more confident. Definitely wouldn't say that you're always unconfident when you have Saturn in the first house. It's not like that, but probably particularly early on, and definitely have high standards for yourself and just a sense of like big responsibility. Which is why I say, like maybe older sibling energy, like this is your younger brother or sister, you got to take care of them, or maybe you had to help out of the house a lot, you got to help take care of things, and you might have been very young and you had a sense of duty, or whether it was a big deal or not, it probably felt like a big deal to you. So then it's manifested with the Saturn in the first house, a sense of like I have to be careful as well with self-expression. I can't just be myself because I'm expected to be a certain way. So they're kind of take on a kind of reserved nature, you know, serious and quiet. So yeah, I mean, that's about it really for this video. It's just a wee short one. But yeah, if you liked it, please leave a like, please leave a comment, hit the bell icon, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.